That's next for you.
Dural sinuses. And I want you to notice that you have a whole blood vessel, a sinus on top. So that would be the superior sagittal sinus. You're in the sagittal plane. So what would the name of the bottom one be? Inferior sagittal sinus. And so for superior on this side, I'm going to take it out so you can see it. You can actually see a letter, it says B. So if you want to remember B, superior sagittal sinus. The one below it is inferior sagittal sinus. A right here is the straight sinus. So A is the straight sinus. A. These are the transverse sinuses. Here you can see on this side no letter. That's straight sinus. And the transverse sinus you can also see here. Okay. And I do not see a letter or number there. You just realize that they're in the transverse plane and they're coming off. You can see where the straight sinus is in the middle. Now for the sigmoid sinuses, there is, again, not really a number or anything. Oh, I see a number 2 right here. So sigmoid sinus, right? And you can see a small 2 up here. Sigmoid meaning it's sigmoid, right? Okay. Cavernous sinus, it's this area here. So you know how they tell you do not pick your pimples around your nose? And the reason, one of the reasons is because of these sinuses. So if you get bacteria from a pimple and it goes into the blood circulation, it can go everywhere, including the brain. So you don't want that to happen. So that's the cavernous sinus. So light blue or dark blue are the sinuses. Now for the cerebral arterial circle, you have to start with the internal carotid arteries. So from the brainstem, you can see those 2 major arteries there. That's the internal carotid artery. From in here, you see those 2 eyes? They kind of look like little eyeballs. That's the internal carotid arteries. Then branching up into the front, and here you can see them branching into the front, is the anterior cerebral arteries. Here would be, I think you can fit right in here. Yeah? So you can see better. There's a space right in there. You can go right on top of her.
No. I can see.
She's short stuff, you're tall. There you go. So the internal carotid arteries, anterior cerebral arteries, here would have been the communicating arteries. Communicating, right? The anterior communicating arteries. So that's half of the cerebral arterial circle made from the internal carotid arteries. The second half starts with the vertebral arteries here. The vertebral arteries then merge and become the basilar artery right here. It's just one. From the basilar artery, then you get the posterior cerebral arteries coming out from here. And here, in between the posterior cerebral artery and the internal carotid artery are the posterior communicating arteries. So now you have a circle, the cerebral arterial circle. If you could not see, and you need to, when you start looking, you need to come and see me and I can show you again, okay?
Yeah.
For those who've got a good recording, airdrop it to your friends.
High tech.
You have a video recording.
The internal carotid artery also gets to the middle cerebral artery. Yes, and if you made a recording, you can also put it on canvas.
Anything for Selena.